Welcome to my Unit 7 assignment on the flipped classroom. My name is Dan Gardner. We're all attending Wilkes University in the class Responsive Digital Leadership under the tutelage of Dr. Grace Sertibel, and the due date is April 19th, 2020. What exactly is the flipped classroom? Really, the flipped classroom could just as easily be called the shifted classroom. A traditional course of instruction has the teacher use class time to introduce a topic to students. Then the students practice the skill or learn more in depth on their own at home through assigned homework. The shift would come by sliding everything forward. The homework is done beforehand, introducing the topic to the students through teacher-created digital lessons or teacher-assigned readings. The mastery and deeper learning on the topic is then done with the guidance of the teacher back in the classroom. I may be incorrect in this assumption, but I would guess that we're all familiar with Bloom's taxonomy. This hierarchy of knowledge is really a brilliant take of how people, students particularly, grow from ignorance to true mastery of a topic. Within a traditional classroom utilizing normal direct instruction, the lowest Bloom levels, those of remembering and understanding, occur within the classroom during that direct instruction from the teacher. With the flipped classroom, those lower Bloom levels are achieved by the students on their own in the teacher-created or assigned pre-homework. Once the students physically go back into the classroom, it is then that some of those higher levels of thinking, such as application, analyzation, and evaluation, occur with the guidance of the teacher. How do strategies that are part of the flipped classroom affect all of us right now in this crazy time? Due to the COVID-19 crisis that has swept the nation, governors near and far, including our own here in Pennsylvania, have shut down schools for the remainder of the academic year. This leaves us educators in a completely new and unexpected situation. The virtual teaching we've been thrust into is unknown to us teachers, unknown to our students, unknown to their parents, and unknown to our administrators. Perhaps if we each had experienced teaching virtually, shout out to Dr. Sertibel, then this transition may have possibly happened a bit more fluidly. Because the flipped classroom strategy has teachers prepare the direct instruction for students to access virtually already, those who have experience using this method perhaps have a leg up on the rest of us during this crisis. Have there been any credible findings with a positive outlook regarding this teaching strategy? In his 2013 research paper, Graham Brent Johnson gave his students surveys about their experience after implementing the flipped classroom. He stated that, quote, the results from the surveys supported the hypothesis that the majority of students enjoyed the flipped classroom experience. Each questionnaire item that examined student engagement and enjoyment showed positive responses concerning the flipped classroom. Only 7% would not recommend the flipped classroom to a friend. Only 8% felt the flipped classroom was less engaging than a more traditional instructed classroom. How about negative findings? Homework itself is a controversial educational tool with traditionalists touting its viability, but more and more people turning against this age-old practice. In her 2012 article, The Flip, The End of a Love Affair, Shelley Wright writes, quote, students spend over 5 hours a day engaged in academic pursuits. I think that is enough. Quote, no matter where you stand on homework, the flipped classroom uses it. It requires homework. Students receiving instruction on their own outside of the classroom is one of the most fundamental principles to the flipped classroom. Without it, the strategy won't work. Some other research has been done basically saying that the flipped classroom model just plain doesn't work. In her 2018 paper, The Impact of the Flipped Classroom Model on Students' Academic Achievement, Amin Kabi concluded that, quote, the findings showed that the use of the flipped classroom model does not yield significant impacts on increasing the student's academic achievement. Close quote. Do I have any experience using this strategy? I sure do. Last year, when I was teaching a fundamental pre-algebra class, I used the flipped classroom for a lesson on the Pythagorean theorem. I assigned the students a YouTube video to watch and created a custom worksheet to go along with the video. This video and worksheet were strictly used as an introduction to the new concept. Once the students returned to class, we did a quick review of what they had learned. Then we were able to do some higher level activities in the classroom, really solidifying their new knowledge. The students seemed to enjoy the new process, and as far as I could tell, they did pick up on the concept without too much trouble. What is the best way to use the flipped classroom going forward? Because this strategy is so reliant on homework completion and intrinsic student motivation, I feel that it will be most useful in a setting where students are intrinsically motivated to complete their homework. This would include college courses and higher level high school classes. I think that younger students' aversion to homework completion and really getting anything out of homework would really throw a wrench in the gears of implementing this strategy in the lower grades.